Picture this. You awaken to a world turned upside down, where civilization crumbled just a mere 2 weeks ago, yet you're still alive. Trapped within your sanctuary, the specter of starvation looms large, matched only by the echoing cries of anguish beyond your walls. The question burns, are the undead still among us? As your supplies dwindle, so does time, urging you into the desolate streets of what was once a bustling city. But fear not, for this is where your journey to survival truly begins. But before we embark on this perilous journey together, here's a glimpse of what lies ahead. Ever wondered how to gauge the safety of an area or the hidden dangers that lurk within a zombie-infested landscape? Are you curious about the unconventional yet fruitful scavenging spots? And what of the living threats that roam these desolate streets? Stay tuned as we unravel these mysteries, arming you with the knowledge and skills necessary to thrive amidst chaos. So gear up, steel your resolve, and brace yourself for the adventure of a lifetime as we navigate the treacherous terrain of scavenging in a zombie wasteland. Your world is now infested with the undead. Zombies roam everywhere unchecked. So let's talk about some of the signs to look for when assessing whether an area is safe for scavenging. Look for areas with minimal or no signs of zombie activity. This includes fewer sightings of wandering zombies, less noise or commotion typically associated with undead presence, and absence of fresh bloodstains or signs of recent attacks. Areas with abandoned vehicles, especially those parked in an orderly manner or showing signs of prior scavenging, may indicate that the area has already been explored and deemed safe by other survivors. Assess the condition of buildings, roads, and other infrastructure. Areas with intact structures, unbroken windows, and well-maintained roads are more likely to be safe for scavenging, as they suggest less recent chaos and destruction. Safe areas typically won't have makeshift barricades, booby traps, or warning signs set up by other survivors to ward off intruders or protect their territory. Be cautious of areas with visible signs of fortified defenses, as they may be guarded or hostile. Use your senses to detect any unusual odors associated with decaying flesh or rotting corpses. Areas with a lack of foul smells are less likely to harbor large concentrations of zombies or recent undead activity. Look for signs of recent human presence, such as footprints, discarded supplies, or makeshift shelters. These indicate that other survivors have passed through the area and may have assessed it as safe for scavenging. Listen for any unusual sounds such as growling, moaning, or banging that could indicate the presence of zombies or other threats. Safe areas typically have minimal noise pollution and lack the distinct sounds associated with undead presence. If possible, scout the area from elevated vantage points, such as rooftops or high ground, to get a better view of potential dangers or signs of life. This allows you to assess the area from a safe distance before committing to scavenging. By carefully observing these signs and using your judgment, you can better assess the safety of an area for scavenging in a zombie-infested city. However, always remain cautious and prepared to react to unexpected dangers. In a zombie city, there are many areas to be scavenged, some better than others, and none of them will have all the same items and resources. Apartment buildings and homes will have a lot of food, supplies, medical items, almost every resource you can think of. These areas, of course, will also have more zombies until they leave the cities in search of other food. Office buildings will have a lot to offer as well. Almost every office building will have a vending machine or two. Most companies in that building will have a small first aid kit. Do the offices have a paper cutter or trimmer with a long blade? That blade can be used as a makeshift weapon on its own, or combined with a mop handle to make a glaive or other pole arm. You will undoubtedly find walkie-talkies, food, extra clothing such as outer jackets in the security room, perhaps even a weapon. When it comes to the stores in this city of the dead, you will basically have two opportunities here. One, you get to loot all the food you can carry if it hasn't been touched, and whatever else the store contains. Secondly, but more importantly, you have to remember that in order for a store to get food and supplies, they had to order it and have it shipped from somewhere. Those very important details will be in the store office paperwork. Finding the location of where they get their products will allow for another adventure of looting and scavenging for a greater size haul of food and supplies. However, looting and scavenging in the world of the undead has another important danger that must not be overlooked. This is the most dangerous killer known to us throughout history. This deadly killer is the desperate man with nothing to lose. Dealing with other survivors or potential threats while scavenging requires a combination of caution, diplomacy, and preparedness. Here are some strategies to handle such situations. Before engaging with other survivors, assess the situation from a safe distance if possible. Observe their behavior, numbers, and any potential weapons they may be carrying. Determine if they pose a threat or if they are fellow scavengers. If you spot other survivors, avoid drawing attention to yourself unnecessarily. Stay hidden if possible and observe their movements discreetly. Minimize noise and movement to avoid alerting them to your presence. If you need to interact with other survivors, approach them calmly and with non-threatening body language. Use clear and concise communication to convey your intentions and assess theirs. Avoid making sudden movements or displaying aggression. Build rapport with other survivors by demonstrating trustworthiness and cooperation. Offer to share resources or information in exchange for mutual assistance or cooperation. Building alliances can increase your chances of survival in a hostile environment. If conflicts arise over resources or territory, try to negotiate a peaceful resolution. Be willing to compromise and find mutually beneficial solutions that address the needs of both parties. Avoid escalating tensions or resorting to violence unless absolutely necessary for self-defense. Maintain a defensive posture and be prepared to defend yourself if negotiations fail or if other survivors pose a threat. Keep your weapons ready, but avoid brandishing them unnecessarily, as it can escalate tensions and lead to violence. If you encounter hostile survivors or threats, consider using diversion tactics to distract or deter them while you make your escape. This could involve creating noise or disturbances in one direction to draw their attention away from your intended path. If negotiations break down or the situation becomes too dangerous, prioritize your safety and retreat to a secure location. Avoid engaging in unnecessary confrontations or risking your life over non-essential resources. By approaching interactions with other survivors cautiously, communicating effectively, and being prepared to defend yourself if necessary, you can navigate potential threats while scavenging in a post-apocalyptic world. Scavenging in a zombie wasteland presents numerous unique challenges and dangers that require careful consideration and preparation. Here are some of the key risks associated with scavenging in such an environment. The most obvious danger is the presence of zombies themselves. These undead creatures are attracted to noise and movement, posing a constant threat to scavengers. A single misstep or encounter with a horde can quickly turn deadly. In a post-apocalyptic world, essential resources such as food, water, and medical supplies are scarce. Scavengers must compete with other survivors for these resources, often resorting to desperate measures to secure them. Cities and urban areas may be in a state of disrepair, with crumbling buildings, collapsed roads, and other hazards posing risks to scavengers. Navigating through unstable structures or debris-filled streets requires caution and careful planning. Hazardous conditions such as toxic waste, contaminated water sources, and natural disasters can further complicate scavenging efforts. Exposure to these hazards can lead to illness or injury if proper precautions are not taken. Other survivors can be just as dangerous as the zombies themselves. Competing factions, hostile groups, and individuals willing to resort to violence for resources pose a constant threat to scavengers. Trust must be carefully earned, and conflicts must be navigated with caution. Transportation options may be limited or unreliable in a zombie wasteland, making it difficult for scavengers to navigate large distances or escape danger quickly. Traveling on foot or using improvised vehicles carries its own set of risks and limitations. The need to scavenge for essential supplies to sustain oneself and the group creates a constant sense of urgency. Scavengers must balance the need to gather resources with the need to remain vigilant and avoid unnecessary risks. Despite these challenges, scavenging in a zombie wasteland can also offer opportunities for resourcefulness, resilience, and camaraderie among survivors. By carefully assessing risks, planning ahead, and working together, scavengers can increase their chances of survival in this hostile environment. So be prepared, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.